One thing I know from sales is that buyers are flaky, unaccountable, unreliable, and in general, dishonest. It's not to say that they're bad people, but it's to say that that's the type of behavior that you should expect, whether it's outbound sales as a salesman or outbound sales within your own business as an entrepreneur. And fortunately, through RLD, I've been able to, since 2012, build up enough content, enough organic content on my site, on YouTube, on Facebook, that I'm able to build a money machine and clients pay upfront and online without speaking to me. And I love all my coaching clients. Absolutely love what I do with my coaching clients. I love the products I sell, love my audience, love talking to you guys. But I can tell you it wasn't always this way. I spent the better part of a decade in cutthroat corporate sales, outbound sales, oftentimes to people who are getting, tons of calls a day. They don't like salesmen a lot of the time. They don't want to talk to you. And it wasn't pretty in a lot of cases. And it certainly wasn't the way that things are for me now. And it's not going to be that way for you depending on where you're at and the type of business you're in. At least not yet, okay? You might be able to spend the next couple of years building up enough organic content to get inbound leads coming to you that are willing to pay based on trust. You might be able to, over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, get enough revenue coming in that you're able to build expensive inbound marketing campaigns, spending $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month on marketing, having them sent to a lead page or a landing page and closed there, upfront, automated, and online. Or you might be able to have enough cash over the next couple of years, or maybe you're there right now, that you can hire other guys to sell and pitch and close clients for you. But until that point, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to sell your time for money. Okay, you got a lot of guys out there telling you not to sell your time for money. I'm telling you to sell your time for money and sell it for the most amount of money you can get. Because I'll be honest with you, passive income is mostly a myth unless you're at a certain level. Okay, you can put out info products like I do, but you still got to do a lot of traffic and spend time releasing new products. It is not passive. Okay, so I'm telling you to sell a service. You guys know that I recommend a service business, and get your hands dirty and go hard on the outbound sales to get your revenue up. Cost you nothing except your time, and sell your time for money. That's the deal. And it's way better than doing a product business, at least on your first business. No inventory, no expenses, no overhead, no bottlenecks. And a service-based business is like the highest margin business you can be in. Okay, and you got to get your hands dirty at the start. You can't just expect to have everything systemized and automated. And you got to get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and being professional in the face of buyer bullshit. And you are going to deal with a lot of bullshit. Okay, you're going to deal with a lot of buyer bullshit as you focus on the process to mastery, whether as a salesman or in your own business as an entrepreneur. Okay, but that's why they pay you the big bucks. And that's just a part of what you have to do, by the way. Whether a salesman or an entrepreneur, you get paid the big bucks for doing what other people don't want to do. Sales is not rocket science. Entrepreneurship on a service business is not rocket science, but it's hard work. It's mastering the discipline, which you can learn from books like my book, How to Sell, which you can get at revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/products. See, I'm always selling, man. I'm selling you right there. And learning that, but then it's hard work and it's doing things that make other people uncomfortable, like calling people and asking for money and dealing with client headaches and dealing with clients who are telling you one thing and doing another, and being professional and polite in spite of that. Okay? And I spent close to a decade in cutthroat corporate sales and have very clear memories of what that reality was like. I'll tell you, I hated being a salesman. I hated every day of it. Okay, but that's what got me here, and that's what can get you to the next level. Or if you're already in the next level, if you're already an entrepreneur and you're doing your outbound sales, there's still way more levels to go above that. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be forever, but a lot of times you are going to have to go through that process, going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to deal with a lot of rejection, a lot of buyers telling you one thing and doing the other. And that's just a part of success, right? It's to get extraordinary results, meaning extraordinary results, you got to put in extraordinary effort, and you have to do extraordinary things that other people don't want to do. So I have very clear memories of that, and I urge you to use my past data, take my word for it, that buyers are liars until proven otherwise. And they lie for two reasons. Number one, because they can. Some people are just not particularly nice people, and they have power, and they take pleasure in using that power against you, knowing you have to be professional. The same way someone will, talk down to the checkout girl or give her a hassle because they have to wait an extra minute in line because they know that she's got to be professional. Okay, and it's very interesting when you first get on that side of the phone and you start having to deal with people, and you're contacting people who aren't where they don't have social consequences. Most of your life until then, school and work, there are social consequences to action. So you think people have a certain type of behavior, but it's not until you start actively going out and dating girls that you don't know, like online or picking up girls on the street, and in sales, which is exactly the same process, where you see what people actually like when there's no consequences of their behavior, how they act. And a lot of the time they act that way because they can, because they know they don't have to follow up, you're not a priority, or some people outright take pleasure in exercising their power against someone they can. By the way, it's usually the lower level members of the company that do that. The CEOs don't have time to waste on BS like that. Number two reason why buyers are liars is they're scared to have an uncomfortable conversation by breaking rapport with you and possibly hurting your feelings. Most people don't want to do that. Most people want to be in rapport and have pleasant conversations. Most people are not comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and would rather tell you they'll think about it and dodge your calls for the next month instead of just outright telling you the truth of they're not interested in why. So that's not to say that all buyers are liars or that all buyers are bad people. Some clients will do exactly what they say, but these are rare, and these are often business owners who have experience selling themselves, and therefore they know how to be good clients, and they're the type of people that keep their word and don't waste your time or others. Business owners will also be the type of people who are comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and politely but firmly telling you that they're not interested, that it's a no. And that's actually a good thing in sales because that saves you a lot of time. You don't have to follow up with that guy. I mean, you go through your objections and whatnot, but a lot of time they'll just stop you like, nope, sorry, hey, appreciate your time, appreciate the value you're offering, but it's a no for me. I'm not interested, and I don't want you to waste any more of your time. All right, buddy, they'll say something like that, which is exactly what I say if I'm getting a sales call and I'm not interested. And I'll make it really clear that I'm not interested, not to waste my time, not to bother with the objection management. And that's great. You want to hear that too. Ideally, you want to hear some kind of interest or like a no like that, a polite but hard no, so you know not to waste your time with that guy. But you're really not going to get that from most people on average. It's not to say that all buyers are liars, but it's to say that you should assume that until proven otherwise. And that's important for managing your expectations. Okay? Until you have the money in your hand, the deal's not closed. And it's important to have that expectation. That way you're not frustrated or disappointed. And most importantly, you have a realistic expectation of the amount of outbound touch points you need to make to hit your targets, which most rookie salesmen and most entrepreneurs grossly underestimate the amount of work that it takes. Okay, the reality is buyers are liars until proven otherwise, and you should expect the following things to consistently happen as an entrepreneur or salesman and manage your expectations accordingly. So, number one, buyers telling you that they'll get back to you. They won't. Okay, when he's saying, let me get back to you, you want to keep him on the phone and figure out what his objection is that he's not telling you, that he's trying to get off the phone with because he's already decided he's not going to buy you. They're not going to get back to you. You might be able to close it in the future, but you're going to have to hound him. They will never call you back or email you back. Number two, buyers telling you they'll think about it. The fact is, they already thought about it and it's a no, and they're not telling you the objection, and you haven't done a good enough job isolating that objection yet. And if you let him off the phone, you're going to lose that deal. Okay? You need to isolate and manage that objection, otherwise the deal is DOA. And I'll give you a hint, the objection is almost always about the money. By the way, quick free close for you. Money aside, do you like the idea? Right? At least you're getting him to show if he's interested. And then you can isolate down on what the real objection is. Most of the time it's money. Because if you think about most of the services that you're selling, and I can tell you pretty much any service business, the guy would buy it if it was free, right? He would take your service, it was free. Chances are it's the money. He's not seeing the value for money. And it's more painful for him to spend the money than it is to get that problem solved. So you're going to have to put some pain on him to push him to that action threshold to buy. But prior to that, you're going to have to isolate that objection. And you can't isolate the objection if you let him off the phone and you know, with the I'll think about it. Okay, he's already thought about it. It's done. So that's another lie. Number 3, buyers saying they'll look at the proposal you sent them. Everybody wants you to send me something, right? Okay, but when he says send you something, say, yeah, I send it. I send it to you right now. You know, why don't we go through it real quick while I have you on the phone? Because they're not going to look at it the second they get off the phone. They're not going to think about you. They're not going to look at it, and you know, send me something is just another way to get this salesman to shut up so I can get off the phone with him without having to break rapport.